Thanks, Jody. As Jody said, I'm Justin Beck, and I'm going to talk to you about game mechanics and virtual goods today. And first off, Seth really warmed us up to this, but many of us view the world in this room, view the world of games, computer games, like this. This is a slide from South Park, where basically, you have this slightly obese man sitting on his chair with a carpal tunnel wrist splint, and he's got a Red Bull sitting there, and he's been chugging, and there's dirty laundry all out there, and his glasses are falling off his nose, and he's not very clean shaven. And this is a gamer, right? And but there are two things missing from this slide because if this was really a gamer, he would be in a dark room and in his mother's basement, and he's in a very bright room. So my goal in this talk is to convince you guys that this is not how we should view games. So first off, I want to take us back to elementary school. And to me, this is second grade. And when we did something well, we turned in a homework assignment, we got a little gold star. And well done, written in perfect penmanship with a little exclamation point. And that was our achievement for doing work well. Or if our teachers were really good and they had kids that had really bad behavior, which was me, unfortunately, they would give tickets for good behavior, right? And you'd accumulate tickets and you'd go to the school store and you would buy things. You would buy pencils and you'd buy erasers with little teddy bears that didn't erase. And you'd buy Milky Ways, if you were my second grade teacher, because you know how to really motivate me. And then pump more sugar into my blood so I'm even more bad behavior. But anyways, that was pretty interesting. So I want us to constantly be thinking about elementary school and second grade as I go through this stuff. So the first thing is, what Seth was talking about with game dynamics. I'm going to use a different type of language, game mechanics. And games are made of these things. So when we think of computer games, he kind of jumped right into what the game layer is. But when you think of a computer game like World of Warcraft or Wii or something like that, they're composed of game mechanics. And game mechanics are actually really simple things. A game mechanic is something that takes a small chunk of work and then quickly puts a reward right after you complete the work successfully. So if you think of a game, I'm going to use a first-person shooter game. First-person shooters where you give people guns and then they all run around the virtual world and shoot each other, which sounds fun already. But if we go technically into what a first-person shooter is, we're using our mouse, we are drawing a cursor of the scope of the gun, and we're trying to keep it on a guy who's running around and jumping and doing crazy stuff. And then when the cursor is on the person's head or something, we are trying to click the button, fire a bullet, and hit them. And if we succeed, they fall over, we get 50 points. And if we miss, we just wasted a piece of bullet, and then we got to do it all over again. So the first thing I want to convince you is that's actually work. That's actually a lot of work. In fact, doing that's actually really hard. And it takes a lot of skill and actually some talent, because every time I go to a Halo party, I am dead last on the leaderboard because I don't have the talent and I don't have the skill. And so it's actually a lot of work, and it takes tremendous concentration to do. So if that's a mechanic, what's a virtual good? And here's the way I think about virtual goods that I think has been very helpful to me. A virtual good is anything that has psychological value to the users. So if something is valuable to me, I attribute value to it and I enjoy it, And so virtual goods are very often rewards. So if you think of World of Warcraft, it could be this awesome blue sword. And this is again from South Park, but this blue sword makes me so powerful I can slay all my friends, or when I'm with my friends, I can protect them very mightily. Or if we're in a different virtual world, like IMVU or a 3D chat virtual world, and I'm two users and we're getting married, that wedding dress is really important to her. This day, if she was in a virtual sweatshirt, would not be nearly as fun. And I'm sure that guy was very happy he bought the virtual priest to be there at their virtual wedding. So, but if we think of Farmville, these might be little cows and little Valentine's hearts, and things like that. But all these are virtual goods. And Seth used a few of these examples, but I'm going to just illustrate another one. So many of us are part of community forums, and we have regular users and we have moderators. And the regular users have their name in gray, and the moderators have their name in orange. And the moderators are all powerful. Like they're all mighty because, my name is Orange. I can ban you. I can do these things, right? And most of us think, okay, that's, gray, orange. That's a font color. But no, that's a virtual good because there's so much value and status that's attributed to that color that it becomes very powerful and it changes people's behavior. So we go through all these virtual goods and we have these game mechanics. But I want to point out something amazing here. So games are extremely successful. People play World of Warcraft for 6 hours a day. That is 30 hours a week. And the other amazing thing is that this is work. This takes tremendous concentration. People spend lots of time doing this. And guess what? They pay for this. Not only do they pay a little bit, they pay billions of dollars, actually, things to make my entire studio and to employ tons of people. So people work 40 hours a day, make a whole bunch of money, that's very important to them, spend that money, and then work another 30 hours at the end of the day to play more games, to work really hard. How is that something that's not amazing, right? So that begs the question, why? And I think the root of the answer to the question why comes down to people are made to work. And many of you are probably thinking, Justin, I'm a parent, I got kids, I'm a school teacher, I got students, I'm an employer, I have employees. They are not made to work. They want to do everything besides work. They want to be lazy. They don't want to do anything. They want to cheat. They want to, they want to play video games. They want to do anything besides work. But I think if you look at, retirement and prisons, that's not true. When people lose their work, it becomes a very big identity crisis. And when the kids leave for college and mothers, they're like, what do I do? And there are many people that it's very troubling for when you lose work. But what people really like working with is when they do something, they do hard work, and then they feel a sense of achievement by completing that work successfully. And that's what makes work truly satisfying. And now if we think about this, and these game mechanics are taking pieces of work and rewarding them right after you complete it successfully, you're starting to feel pretty good. I did pretty good with that. I'm good. Wow, okay. You do it again, and you get another one. You shoot another bullet. Wow, I'm good at this. And these games are all, filling up this sense of achievement, and eventually comes down to the feeling of, I am awesome. These games make me feel that I am amazing, and that feels pretty good. I'm pretty sure we all like feeling amazing. That's not what the real life tells us. If you open a magazine, are you living this life for more than a day? You hear everything besides this, right? You hear, I'm too fat. I'm not smart enough. I can't get that job. I have no sense of achievement. I got a B. You're not even going to pass school. You're not going to be able to graduate. Something's wrong there. Why are games addicting? Why do people spend all this time in virtual worlds and spend all this work and effort having fun in a virtual world, but not in the real world? Don't be mad at games. They are just putting their users' feelings first. That's it. They're doing it right. Maybe instead of being mad at games and being like, oh, man, education's crap because all those kids are just playing all those stupid video games and they don't do their homework, or I can't get them to do anything. Maybe we should take education from games. Maybe we should take games and bring the game mechanics to real life. So, I actually have a 3-step process to teach every single one of you guys how to do this tomorrow, or maybe today. So, it's really simple, and this is now the most important slide, so you can all take notes. Step 1, you want to break down tasks. So, let's say you're in a community, you're at work, you're doing something, right? You have a whole bunch of work you want to accomplish. You want to break down the work into small, measurable tasks. They have to be measurable. Step 2, you want to identify and brainstorm any type of rewards or virtual goods, anything that has psychological value to your user base. So, 2nd grade, It could be Milky Ways. It could be not erasers that don't erase. Those things are useless. All they do is look cute. And any type of rewards that have psychological meaning. There is almost always more space for you to brainstorm here. I mean, think font colors, anything. And the third one, the magic, is you want to mechanically link them together where one measurable task equals one reward, and you want to make the delta t, the time between doing the work successfully and getting the reward, as small as possible. If it's 2 seconds, that's pretty good. 2 milliseconds is better. 6-month, high-level compensation packages don't work. They may work on the balance sheet, but basically, when you're trying to incentivize the psychology of a person, it just doesn't work. We like immediate gratification, whatever. So, 3-step process: breaking down tasks, identifying rewards, and mechanically linking them together. Now, our game studio in Madison is in the business of doing this, right? We get paid to do this all day long. So I learned a few extra things. On the bottom is you want to track metrics and you want to iterate on this. So for example, if you link the wrong task with the wrong reward, think of that dig story, right? You may incentivize the wrong behavior and get the wrong result. So you want to track that so you have metrics to see how you're doing. So I increased work productivity by 20%. Hey, that's great. Can I do better? Try something else. Try linking that reward, or try linking that work to a different reward, and you may see, wow, I increased work productivity by 200%. Or so you really want to iterate this. You want to be able to make bold decisions and change them because it's okay. If you have data, you can learn from it. So going back to real-world examples, this is the LinkedIn example Seth was talking about, right? We see game mechanics seeping into our world all over the place. They are incentivizing you to complete your portfolio and your profile by adding another recommendation and get that progress bar to the right. Credit cards. I bet every single one of us has at least one cashback and one travel rewards card in our wallets. What is it? People are trying to use game mechanics to incentivize behavior because they want you to use their card and not someone else's card. And when you start seeing through the lens of this game layer that's being built on the world how to influence behavior, it really opens your eyes. And I think, think of that steps, how they're breaking down the tasks that they want to do, how they're breaking down the rewards. This is an example of that dig that did it really, really well. This is the most successful technical forum online in the last year, with huge amounts of growth. But what they did is you earn reputation points, and then they unlock features of the site based on how many reputation points you have. So, the virtual goods in this business are features. They're just allowing you to vote up something or reduce advertising or vote to close or create new tags as being features that are the value, right? You can create a virtual good that's anything. In fact, the ability to do more work can be a virtual good. So there's really a lot of power here. And if we go back to elementary school and we go back to 2nd grade, we see this in a different lens, right? We see that gold star, virtual good. That well done, for sure, virtual good. Game mechanics based on the performance, the different things you're buying in a store. She's even got a virtual currency going on here where you can trade these tokens and you could wheel and deal to get the different eraser and the different Milky Way. 2nd grade's really amazing. It was. So why am I telling you this? Why is this the presentation I chose to pick, right? So in Beck-Perblue, in the last 2 years, I have learned a lot. I have learned how to build a business, marketing strategies, manage a creative team, raising money, building building products. I've learned a lot. But when I think about the most important, influential thing that I've learned in the last 2 years with Beck-Perblue, it's game mechanics. And that's because almost always when we're trying to be a leader and we're trying to make a difference, and that involves changing users and people's behavior. So when I look at this audience, and I see all these leaders and all of us trying to make a difference, the best thing I can give you guys from the tools to equip you is game mechanics. So with that, thank you very much, and game on.